Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2021 Jaguar F-Type R. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Jaguar here in downtown Salt Lake for giving me some time with this F-Type R. Check out the inventory link below. Let's get straight into the video. So under the hood, we have a supercharged 5-liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, fuel economy is 16 around town and then 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 575 horsepower and then 516 pound-feet of torque. And yes, it does open up that way just like a Viper. Looks really cool, and you can see just how far back the engine is. But yeah, it's such an interesting look to see that with the hood up. Now going over the front end of the F-Type R, it looks like a spaceship. It's just so cool looking. So first off, we've got the little vents right here on the hood that make it look a little bit more aggressive. And then coming down below, we've got these full LED lights, and they kind of really sharpen things up for the 21 model year. So again, it just looks so much like a spaceship. We've got the venting here with one of the parking sensors, more parking sensors integrated at the front. We've got our R logo and then our Jaguar logo as well. Blacked out front splitter. But yeah, overall, it looks so cool. Again, just looks like a spaceship. And I do want to mention the metallic flake in this paint. Just look at that. Perfection. Now coming to the side here, we've got two 65mm tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels in the front, and then 305mm tires, again wrapped around 20-inch wheels in the back. And then as for the design, I love how they have the silver on top of the darker wheel. I think it just looks perfect. Nice contrast to the rest of the car. We've got our red brake calipers because it is the R model. And then we've got this nice accent piece right here with the Jaguar logo on it. And then it's cool to see the bodywork again with the front splitter and then the side skirt down the side. And then yes, it does have the cool trick door handles. And then here's your full side view. Again, the front looks like a spaceship. The back end looks like a spaceship too, but looks more similar to the previous generation. And it's all for the side. So yes, this is technically a hatchback. We've got the cargo cover right here, and then we've got this cool little storage bag. Now I love this. This actually matches the interior. So these are the floor mats, and they've got leather with stitching, again, that matches the interior color. You guys will see that in a moment, but that is nice attention to detail. But yeah, overall, decent amount of storage. Yes, you can fit golf clubs back here if you were wondering, and well, let's close her up. See ya. Now this is where things look most similar to the previous model here in the back end. They have sharpened things up a little bit with the taillights, but overall looks, again, pretty similar from a design perspective. And then also we've got our F-Type badge, we've got our R badge on the other side. Crazy looking exhaust tips here at the bottom, and then you have the camera right there below the license plate and then the crazy diffuser. But yeah, that's all for the back. Now here's the door panel in the front. So again, we've got this beautiful brown leather, and then I love the design they've done here in this area. And then we've got more leather down below. And then notice we've got our window controls right here. This little door handle actuation action. And then other than that, you've got the seat adjustments. There's a ton. It does have memory seats as well. And then here are the seats. So you can see absolutely beautiful with the design. Again, we've got that brown leather that matches the floor mats. Perforated leather here in the center portion. And then there is the pedal layout down below. And if you guys are wondering, yes, you can definitely fit taller people in this car. There's quite a bit of space. Steering wheel adjustments right there. And then you guys can see that's for the trunk, lane departure, and then one of the light controls. And there's one more look before we pop in. Now before we get into anything, I want to show this. This is pretty cool. When you turn the car off, the vents go back down into the dash, and then when you turn the car back on, wait for it, the vents go, yep, time to cool this baby down. Now here's the steering wheel in the F-Type R. We've got really nice leather here at the top, perforated leather here on the side, and then smoother leather at the bottom. We have our R logo with the Jaguar there in the center. Got a cruise controller here with the heated steering wheel control, voice command control, and controls for the center stack. Beautiful paddles there on the back. And then you've got that for the windshield wiper, and then you've got that for the turn signal / lights, and that's all for the steering wheel. Here's the digital gauge cluster. First off, I think it's cool that they give us a little F-Type right there. I just think that's a nice design touch, right? Nice attention to detail. Now, aside from that, there's a couple different menus you can scroll through here on the side, just like all the other Land Rovers and Jaguars. Just gives you different bits of information on the vehicle itself, gives you access to the media, miles on the vehicle, right, your chip computer, all that normal stuff, so nothing crazy happening there. Now there are some different drive modes that we can go through here with the F-Type R. So first off, we've got our rain, ice, and snow mode. And notice it says confirmed when you go that, and then we have our dynamic program as well. And then if we go out of that, we just have our normal modes. So those are the different drive modes you can go into. And by the way, the dynamic does open up the valves with the exhaust, so it sounds a little bit louder. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, we'll pop it into reverse. You can see the backup camera. Resolution on the camera is great. It's got trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. And yeah, again, we've got parking sensors in the front and rear that also help out from a camera perspective. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, first off, we've got this shortcut bar here at the bottom. Really cool that it has that. And overall, response time of the infotainment system is great. It's easy to use. And notice we've got this side screen right here that's got like the valet mode, for example. We've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It does have ambient lighting. And then you've got that dynamic eye. So if we go into the dynamic mode first, then notice that we can change the setup with the mode itself. So I think that that is pretty cool that they let you customize that. But that's all for the center screen. Now I've got the Trick climate controls right here. So this does have a dual zone climate system, but on top of that you press them in and then that lets you adjust the heated and cooled seat function. Obviously we've got the cooled seats on because, wow, 115 degrees. More climate controls down there, and I love the actuation with these switches. We've got our stop start button right there, and then we just have a little 12 volt that just hides behind that portion. This is the shifter for the 8-speed automatic transmission, and then our drive mode select, and then we've got that for the radio, and then this is the exhaust button. So if you want to be in the normal mode, but then you want a louder exhaust, then you can just press that. And then this is for the wing and the rear to make that pop up. Auto stop start, stability control, and then the parking sensor, or sorry, parking brake rather. Cup holders right there, and then we have our center console, which pretty decent for a smaller size car like this. And then they do give you some more storage here with this little netting. And then, I mean, you shouldn't put anything heavy back there. I wouldn't recommend really putting anything there, but technically you could use that as storage space, but again, wouldn't recommend it because that's the cargo cover, and yeah, not a good idea. Finishing things off, I love this for the glove box. You got that nice button, and then that's what opens up the glove box. And then notice beautiful leather all over the dash stitching. Like, material use in this is fantastic, but also, like, maybe I need to make an ASMR video for this little glove box button. Now finishing things up top, we have an all black headliner, and then we have a sunroof. The roof doesn't open itself, it just lets more light into the cabin, so similar to like what they had in 911s in the past. So you have that, but then you can just have the shade if you don't want the extra light, and that's all for the top. So here's our window sticker for the F-Type R. You guys can see obviously all-wheel drive, but feel free to freeze a frame if you want to read all of the exact options that it comes with. Actually comes pretty fully loaded. There are some options that you can add to this. So this has the full extended leather upgrade, and that's why there's leather all over the interior. But you can see the total MSRP right there, $113,965. Let's take her out and see how she drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here on the F-Type R. So first off, there's your visibility over the hood, and then through both the mirrors. They do have blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear. I mean, for being a, you know, high-performance sports car, it actually has pretty decent visibility. Let's set off. We are setting off here in the 2021 F-Type R. And first off, let's talk about the road noise and ride quality. So it actually is a really good luxury car. It has a nice smooth ride quality to it. You do get a little bit of road noise through the tires, but it's actually not too bad whatsoever. So it'd be a great daily driver. Now, aside from that, yeah, it's just comfortable. The seats are really nice and supportive. I really like the seats that Jaguar and Land Rover make for their vehicles. And the reason I like them so much is they have the right amount of cushioning where they're comfortable, but they're not so soft that you kind of sink into them. They still have like a level of firmness that's just really nice, and I just absolutely love it. Now, aside from the seats, yeah, it's a great car. Like, you could very easily daily drive this. The one thing that would take a while to get used to, though, is the longer hood, obviously. So you just have to understand that thing goes out a little bit farther than you expect. So just kind of come into it with that. And the exhaust and quiet mode, actually, I mean, sounds relatively good. Now I'll press the exhaust button, so then it'll open up the valve so we can hear a little bit more from that 5-liter supercharged V8. And then actually, you know what? Let's pop it into dynamic mode. I instantly downshifted. Transmission's super responsive. You guys know I'm a huge fan of this 8-speed automatic. But yeah, so far, really comfortable, but also definitely exciting. So we're taking a turn here. Definitely love the sounds this makes. In the dynamic mode, definitely stiff. So I can understand why they put an exhaust button on this car, because you're probably going to want to drive it in the normal mode, but then with the valves open so you can get the extra sound, but then not have the stiffness that you get in the dynamic mode, because it is quite stiff in the dynamic mode. But let's get an acceleration here. Oh, that sounds amazing. Obviously, it doesn't do the gargles that the old F-Type R did because of emissions restrictions, but it's not like it sounds bad. It still sounds like a crazy muscular, like, just even if you get partial throttle, it sounds fantastic. But yeah, still sounds like a crazy loud, crazy aggressive, muscular, supercharged 5-liter V8. Like, that hasn't left the car just because of the extra emissions restrictions that were added to it. I mean, just appreciate this. Like, it sounds so good. That has got to be like one of the best sounding, if not the best sounding, new cars that you can buy on the market today. But I guess that'll get me into summing things up with this F-Type R. So first off, exterior wise, I like all the changes they made. They kept all of the beautiful parts of the car, especially the back end, because the back end's so iconic. But then they changed the front end, made it look a little bit more modern, a little bit more futuristic as well. And overall, I think it definitely did this car justice. Interior wise, it is fantastic. Really comfortable with the seats. Material use is very nice as well. The touch points are really nice. And with this extended leather package, definitely feels like just a really high-class luxury car. And then in terms of the driving, it's very daily drivable, very comfortable. The air-conditioned seats doing fantastic. I'm really comfortable, even though it's like 110 degrees outside today. It's a great place to be. And then from a performance standpoint, really quick with the acceleration. The all-wheel drive puts down the power. It sounds fantastic. It doesn't do the gargles and pops anymore, but it still sounds great. It still has that just crazy aggressive nature to it that the F-Type is known for. And I guess that we will leave you with one more acceleration and then I'll cap things off. I love this thing. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2021 Jaguar F-Type R. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Jaguar here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with the F-Type. Check out their inventory and link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.